Welcome or welcome back. This is Pairs Well Knitting. I'm Jennifer, and this is a knitting podcast all about knitting, yarn adventures, and travel. Thrilled that you're here, and I am so excited to be sharing my very first sweater pattern design release. It's gone live as of the 18th of April. I'm going to be sharing about that pattern, details, yarn pairings. This is the dream for me of knit and knitwear design. There's a collaboration with a gorgeous mill that we're going to be talking about, discounted yarn. There's also a discount to the pattern. I'm so excited. We're going to bounce in. I'm also going to be sharing some other finished objects and whips that are sitting beside me. We have had the very first, what I would classify as spring day here in the city. I'm feeling so energized. I hope you are feeling all the energy as well, wherever you are. Let's get comfy, get cozy, and we will bounce in. We have released the Kingsburg Keyhole Pullover as of April 18th. It has gone live. It's featured on Ravelry. I hope you check it out. I'm going to be talking about two types of discount codes that I'm thrilled to share about. I will talk about the details at the end of chatting about the sweater. There's a discount code for the pattern itself. I have never introduced a pattern with a discount code. This is my first time. So exciting. And there's a yarn collaboration with Hillesvag that I am thrilled to be sharing with you. And we have a very healthy discount code as well, where I will share again details just after I'm talking about the Kingsburg Keyhole Pullover. So stay tuned. What I want to share just to begin, and there's so many stories. I feel this was such an incredible process that I went through of learning, of collaborating with a variety of other knitters and professionals in the field. But I want to talk about the inspiration first for the Kingsburg Keyhole Pullover. This was a sweater design where I thought so much about what I wanted my first sweater to feature, what the aesthetic was going to be for this. I feel as, creative folk that we are in creating our own clothes or design, I was overwhelmed with choice. There were so many beautiful ideas I feel that I had running through my head, but I knew I had to pick one. And for me, I feel because this was the first design, I really wanted to make it something classic, but also have an interesting twist to it, something unique. And so I wanted a feature that was going to be slightly, outside of the norm for a classic sweater. I knew I wanted something that was going to be flattering as a fit, not something very boxy and oversized, but something that's more form-fitting and that would allow the wearer to wear the sweater with such a variety of clothing options and not be limited. I find sometimes with oversized sweaters for myself, it's almost the sweater is wearing me, and I wanted it just to look nice, pretty, and feminine. This idea came to me in Nova Scotia. As you know, I adore Nova Scotia. The East Coast is just a gorgeous place to be in Canada. And Kingsburg Beach, which is located in the South Shore of Nova Scotia, is so stunning. If you ever have the opportunity to travel out that way, maybe pop in. It's such a beautiful area of the country. And this was the inspiration. I was out on a run in Nova Scotia and this design popped into my head, and it was one of those moments where I couldn't get off of that aesthetic I had. The vision had to come to life in my hands, and it did. So what I did is I paired it with this beautiful unspun yarn. This is my very first version. This is Forgarn or Forgarn by Hillesvag, a beautiful variegated unspun yarn held double. And I'm so thrilled with how it turned out. There's a whole video I have, of course, of knitting with unspun yarn in order to have it be very workable because I think if you haven't worked with unspun yarn, it can be quite daunting. It's a feeble yarn that breaks. So there's a whole bunch of different tips and tricks that I've offered in another video. This yarn was beautiful to work with and is wearing really lovely as well. I have worn this a number of times. So I'll tell you about the design. This is a knit top down raglan sweater. Starts, of course, at the neckline with a slight rolled hem and has a 1x1 ribbing neck. Really simple, but just a really, I think, you know, tighter to the neckline, really flattering fit. It goes down into a rapid, I should start, sorry, here. Rapid increases are unique for each size. There are 12 sizes in total. You're looking at a gauge. I didn't even share this, I'm sorry. I'm just so excited about sharing about everything. The gauge was 16 stitches by 25 rows for 10 centimeters by 10 or 4 inches by 4 inches. 16 stitches per 10 centimeters. So 2-stitch raglan, I'm calling this, where it's 2 stitches that are flanked by increases as you go down the raglan line. This is not the traditional every other kind of row of increases, but very strategically placed increases, again, to allow the increases to be done at specific points that allow for the fabric not to be overwhelming in the arm or the body, but really allow for just a really lovely fit. The ease that I was recommending, or am recommending I should say, for the size guide, and I was very particular of how I put this together. I put a little schematic for the first time with this pattern, is that we're looking about 2 to 5 centimeters or 3/4 to 2 inches of positive ease. If we look at other really popular sweater pattern designs, it's quite minimal. So there are a lot of size accommodations to allow for this slight amount of ease to occur. We have 12 sizes that are offered in the pattern that range from bust, or full bust I should say, of 86.5 centimeters to 147.5 centimeters. Or if you're looking at inches, you're looking at 34 inches and going up to 58 inches as a full bust. I do want to talk about the size as well. I feel like I'm jumping all over the place. This was so critical to allow for myself to get right in this process. So in creating the pattern with the aesthetic that I had, allowing for such a size range to be applied to the pattern, it was a challenge to say the least, and I am a math girl. This was a bit of a head scratcher because every size was so unique in doing this. I based the sizing off of a workshop that I attended that was run by Kate Atherley, and Kim McBrien's attended to share her sizing chart. If you are not knowing, these are two huge knitting gurus in knitting world and design, and it was such an incredible workshop, one of such learning that I did at the perfect time to help me apply, of course, to my first sweater design. So my sizing is based off of Kim McBrien's size guide. She has taken heaps of data of all different kinds of body shapes and sizes and applied it into a chart to create averages. From there, then I calculated out for each size and applied it, of course, to the pattern that I had written up. I do want to fast forward back to the design. So 2-stitch raglan, you split for sleeves, of course, knit straight down into 1x1 ribbing. In the pattern, I have recommended in pattern bind off, which is a knit over purl bind off. But of course you can do whatever you want. If you are using unspun, it's a really nice, effective bind off, because of course sewn bind offs can be much more challenging with unspun. I have other techniques that I have noted for people that are interested in the pattern itself, and of course have created technique videos to help guide you through. So not only simple things that experienced knitters would know, and if you're not, I've created videos for these things as well. So different increases, which are make one lefts, make one rights. I've also included a video on the purl side, how to make one left and make one right, or on the wrong side, because I feel like there's sometimes a lack of that kind of video to find efficiently. I have a video that just helps guide you through German short rows. This is something that I could not figure out for years, and finally got it with a couple videos that I put together and that helped me. So I put one together for you. So even if you're not, of course, purchasing the pattern, you can check out the video and hopefully get some assistance there in your short row skills, because I've got little tips and tricks along the way. And of course that includes resolving the German short rows, because again, there's always that one tricky short row that I always used to encounter with a hole coming back in when you continue knitting in the round, but it couldn't be easier. So check it out. And then of course we have picking up stitches, which is a video from my plug and play pullover that applies to this pattern as well. And finally we have adding a button loop, and this is what I'm so excited about this design because it does make it unique. We have our keyhole feature that of course is instructed in the pattern with specifics of how to do this. And there is a whole video on how to create your very own button loop. I go into detail with how I've worked the button loop with spun yarn and unspun yarn. And it's just this cutest, it couldn't be any cuter. Cutest little button loop. This button I chose so specifically. This is a button from Fia Yarn Shop in Nova Scotia, Halifax to be exact. And it's a ceramic matte button that I just felt sung together. I love the pairing of Canadian and Norwegian bits together. It has my heart. And it couldn't be more my dream come into real life. I then, after the pattern was written, and I did go in segments as this was my very first design, that not only was I writing for a sweater, but working with a professional tech editor. That tech editor is based in Toronto. Her name is Sandra Whitaker, really lovely human and great knitter. She helped me along the way with reviewing and revising the pattern, which I'm very thankful for. So I feel the coupling of everything was kind of this wonderful perfect storm between attending Kate Atherley's workshop with Kim McBrien's and then working closely with Sandra Whitaker to get tech editing and revision done on the pattern was lovely. The pattern then went into testing, and I worked with, of course, beautiful knitters from across the world that had knit obviously the variety of sizes to create their own sweaters themselves. So there is information on Ravelry as well. This isn't my only version, of course, because I wanted to always push the design of whatever I'm creating so that you can also have a play and just to see if you do not want to use that one recommended yarn, how else can it look in other yarns or fibers, creating different fabric. And of course I have a second version. This is in another Hillesvag yarn. This is one strand only that I knit up. This is Varde Pelsullgarn in Mork brun, and it is just lovely. It is a spun yarn. It's a 2-ply, and it is such a stunner. It's just, I want to eat it. It's so delicious looking. I followed the exact same everything, size, pattern instructions, of course, to see how it would be knit up. You can see it's a little looser looking or less dense fabric because of course it's one strand, not the super like fluffy filling unspun two strands held double, but worked up just gorgeously. So even though it's technically what I would classify as a lighter knit, it is still super cozy, and I don't know if you can see the halo coming through on this, but it is just such a gorgeous fabric. Every time I wear it, it feels a little more, it's rustic, don't get me wrong, but it's a rustic soft, and how can I explain? It feels more luxe. It's just such a special feel. Again, I wish you could feel the difference of, like, this feels drier, if that makes sense, and this feels, wetter is not the right, smoother, does that make sense? And silkier almost. It's just stunning. So this is the Varde. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share now the information about the discount codes. There's an automatic discount that will be available for the first week of the release of this pattern, the Kingsburg Keyhole Pullover, and I'm putting it out as 25% off. It feels a little risky and scary. Stop. So let's talk about the discounts. So starting right now, as soon as I release a pattern and for 1 full week, if you purchase a pattern for the Kingsburg Keyhole Pullover, you can receive the pattern for 20% off. Again, I've never offered a discount. I feel excited, and I feel this is a lovely time to try out a discount code. The reason why I haven't included a discount code in the past is because I feel there is so much time that goes into all of this pattern design. This definitely was the most time I've ever spent on a pattern. Grading alone took weeks and weeks to do. And of course, the cost to the tech editor, who is of course a professional and deserves every penny, there was a cost associated. But I feel like I want to give it a try with a discount code and see what happens. So give it a go. It's only there for a week. So if you are considering making a purchase and you want to get your hands on a little bit of a code, give it a go before the week is over. In addition to that discount, I'm partnering with Hillesvag Mill, which I'm thrilled to be sharing with you. They are offering a very healthy discount as well. If you type in, when you make your purchase, for Hillesvag yarn, and there is 4 options available for purchase. You can purchase the Forgarn or the Felgarn, which is the unspun, the Varde, which is this yarn that I'm sharing and have adored, and 2 other very comparable yarns, but are lamb's wool, is Vide or Vide, and Luna. Gorgeous yarns. I haven't had the pleasure of working with them yet, but they would make for the same gauge to achieve the same gauge for the Kingsburg Keyhole Pullover. And they are generously offering 20% discount with the code Kingsburg. I'll include all the details, of course, within the show notes. So Hillesvag shared with me about shipping, because it is a little scary if you are not living within Norway to kind of guess and estimate how much shipping can be and all that. And I know even being in at the Hillesvag Mill and having the package of glorious yarn shipped over to Canada, it definitely was a little stressful to see like how would it get there, but it did. It was lovely. It was great. So I didn't have to stress about it. But with cost, right now, Hillesvag hasn't sorted out completely their total for shipping costs up front. What they have let me know as just an FYI for you is that when you put everything in your basket and you go to purchase, the shipping cost is higher. They haven't worked out this glitch yet. However, when they go to ship the product to you, the yarn, it goes by volume and weight as mass. So what will happen is you will get a refund of a portion of that shipping cost. It sounds a little complicated. Unfortunately, they're not super sorted out, but I'll give you an idea. It's about 30 to 35 Canadian dollars to have yarn shipped depending how much yarn you're shipping. I think for me, when I had my box shipped, it was about 30 Canadian dollars, which is really reasonable if you're doing a decent order or even a sweater quantity of yarns that we just can't get here. Anyway, so those are the two discounts that are offered to you. And I do want to say that the Hillesvag discount is available until the very end of May. So it's not a knee-jerk reaction. You don't have to go and make your purchase right away. You can have a bit of a play to think what yarn you would like to do some beautiful online shopping, throw things in your basket, give it a thought, and then go ahead and make your purchase. But I do suggest that you use the discount code for 20% off using Kingsburg, because that's a nice little healthy discount. All right, I think that's it with the Kingsburg Keyhole Pullover. If you have any questions, please let me know, and hopefully I can help you out with that. We will press on with other finished objects, and I can't believe I didn't share this with you before. I think I assumed I did, and then looking back at the show notes for last time I filmed, which was 2 weeks ago now, I actually went reverse. I shared a whip that I had, which was the Summer in Oslo blouse, again, Norwegian, roots. And I shared my neon, like yellowy green version of whip. I didn't share my finished object of my first version, so I'm going to share that with you. I can't believe I didn't do that. So this was a sweater that I knew I had to cast on. There was no pattern that I could find in English, at least, that involved the aesthetic that I wanted. This sweater was heavily inspired by knitters in Norway as I was there in the summer, particularly in Oslo, and with a really big, simple, boxy sweater with big sleeves. And so I pulled from that idea and I thought, you know what, I'll make my own. And so I did. And the first version, I'm not even showing you, it's an apricot version using Bella Permin. Love it, but I made it way too challenging. I knit everything flat for the first time and did seaming. So we outsmarted the system and we did an I-cord bind on, no, I-cord cast on, and knit up to create this really boxy fit in the round. So I'm like, huzzah, like that's smart. And then I did some seaming to get this really cute 3D seam that, you can see today with the lighting, that I crocheted closed and picked up for the sleeve. Really big, huge balloony, voluminous, billowy sleeves, I should say, and then an I-cord bind off that involved a very particular bind off, not to get holes, but cinched in at the cuff, just the way I wanted. Thrilled with the design. So I have a little video, I'm sure, that I've already inserted. Love, 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 love. If you have been here since last time or the time before, I have talked about the flaw of that design as well, because I realized knitting top up is not everyone's favorite, including my own. I don't know why I didn't think of this. So my next version, which is done now, and I'm not going to do a proper review because I didn't take video of it and my son is leaving, but I'm going to flash my finished object, my other finished object of the Summer in Oslo blouse, that I totally reverse engineered this whole thing again, and we did a top down sweater construction. Yes, so this sweater has had 3 different lives, we'll say, from knitting totally flat to bottom up in the round to top down in the round. I do want to share one little tidbit. I'll share it on this one because this is proper finished object I'm sharing with you this week. Is the back is slightly longer than the front. Actually, you can see even, just to give it a little better of a fit and aesthetic when worn. It's such a lovely knit. You can dress it up, dress it down. I feel with this fabric, this is, I didn't share a super like fancy version, I'd say. This is a chunky mohair. This particular one is Ballerina Chunky Mohair by Sandnes Garn. Super lovely to have worked with, really easy to have worked with. There were no issues with like snagging on the fibers or anything. And I just feel is really practical for this time of year in my closet. And I do. I love the open neckline. It's, I would classify it as like a boat neckline. So you can wear it with a camisole. You can wear it a little more like, you know, closed up with a turtleneck, which I've done, or blouse with a camisole. It's like a little risky and fun. And I'm loving it. I loved it so much. I mean, I made my second version. And I will share the second version next time with you, so I can do that justice of sharing that version, because it's a whole different ball game over there, and I don't want to take away from the Kingsburg Keyhole Pullover day. So that is a pattern that I'm writing up currently, but as you know, this takes a long time. To give you a rough idea, I started knitting the Kingsburg Keyhole Pullover in October. I want to say October. We are in April now with the pattern out. That's a while. I do not know how the professional designers do it. That's a big job. All right, I'm going to share now some whips that I've been working on with traveling, like subwaying and everything. So I'm going to share this. This is big noises. Sorry. This is a hat that I believe I showed last time. And I am at a point where we are set to go. Look at this thing. She's a party of a hat. I will share quickly. This is just freestyling. I did a merino brim. This will be held under, folded under, and stitched down to allow the brim of the hat to be cozy but super soft on my little forehead, and then silly business up top. This is 2 strands held double of Sunday, which is a merino yarn, super soft from Sandnes Garn. And then I've added in, along with that, to thicken it up and give it extra zhuzh. This is Lana Gatto Scintilla. It's in the show notes, and it's just silly fun. It's soft for what it is and what it looks like, but I wanted like a fancy, it's looking fabulous in the light, a fancy like black beanie, simple construction and design, but would let the fancy bits show through to go with all of my black outerwear for like wool coats and that. So that will be probably finished this week. I'm just on the decreases about to. I have ripped out the top, as you would have seen in the last episode, because I didn't make it tall enough. I do like a little bit of a taller beanie. I find it gives it a little more uniqueness and flair, and I like flair. So that's the Freestyle beanie, and that's where we're at. She's got a little subway knit. I have just cast it on this weekend, but she's been a busy weekend, so I haven't got that far, is a very summery version of the plug and play slip over. I have two plug and play slipovers that I've been wearing on rotation this spring, and this one is a color blocking version that I've had in my head for quite some time. So I'm taking this beautiful like lavender purple color. This is a Canadian yarn. This is from a Canadian maker, Canadian wool and Canadian naturally dyed wool. This is Mindful Yarns and Fibers. I purchased this 2 years ago in Barrie at a fiber event, and really enjoy it. It's very rustic, not soft, not beanie appropriate at all, but as a slipover to wear over other clothing, absolutely perfect. And all naturally dyed, which is super fun. This is going to be the first half of the front and the back of the slipover, and then I'm putting it together with this like chartreuse, I think she calls it marigold, it's probably dyed by marigolds, in the second half marigold of the slip over, and then it's going to end and finish with a cream. This is not the same yarn. This is Briggs & Little Heritage, but same gauge and similar yarn. So this is going to be the ribbing at the bottom and ribbing at the neckline, and I feel like it's just going to be like super springy goodness. That is where my head is going with this plug and play slip over, which is my design. Link will be in the show notes. But yeah, it's just going to be a color blocking dream. I had played around with some color work and it wasn't what I wanted. So the color blocking spring edition, she will get sorted out. My last whip, and I do have some progress on it because it's become an at-home whip now, is this beautiful pullover. This is the Wild Posy Pullover Luna edition by Melody Hoffman. I've knit this, technically not the Luna version ever. I've knit the Wild Posy, what's it called? Wild Posy. Oh gosh, it's the one with the eyelets. Hello, help, I can't. It'll be in the show notes. I've knit it twice, using 2 strands, held double of Istex Plotulopi. Hopefully I'm saying it okay. I know you don't enjoy when I don't say it right, so I think that's it. And loving it. I wanted a mindless knit, something that I've knit before. This was in between like all the design stuff because I find it eats up a lot of glucose in my brain, and this doesn't because it's already written. I don't have to do a lot of thinking, and I've knit it before. So super textury yoke and stock net for the remainder of the body. I'm at the point where I'm going to be doing changing my needles and doing a 1x1 ribbing to finish off the hemline and picking up the sleeves. It's just like I said, it's an at-home knit right now. I usually do work with unspun on transit as well, but I find with these plates right now it's just a little awkward. So I've been using smaller projects as my whips on my commutes, which works. And then this is my couch knitting. Okay, I think that's that. That's that. The Kingsburg Keyhole Pullover release code, the Hillesvag code, the new in progress pattern for the summer in Oslo blouse, and then my whips were good. So that's that. Again, if you have any questions about the pattern, about the yarn, different yarn options, because again, yarn options are something that I do not want ever to be limited by myself as a knitter. I don't want you to feel limited. So please let me know if you have any questions about your yarn choice at all. If this is what you are thinking you might want to have and jump on your needles, I am thrilled. I'm thrilled about all of it. And if any of you are excited to be knitting this sweater design, this Raglan sweater, I thank you very much for your support. If you liked today's video, I invite you to like and subscribe to the channel. If you're finding yourself over more, there's also a Ko-Fi account that you can click down on, or just simply, if you want to get a little bang for your buck, you can always purchase one of the patterns from me. Let me know if you have any questions about anything. As always, I wish you great joy in your knitting. And until next time, take care.